Good morning and happy Monday. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's Weekly Wisdom. Now, this week is a little bit of a lesson tied up with a story. You see, my daughter and I had gone outside in our neighborhood and we were playing with this huge group of neighborhood kids at the end of the street. And they had one of those hoverboards, the things that I think if I stand on, I'm gonna break something, but the little kids stand on and they just float and go do their thing. And they had this kid that you could tell he was a little nervous. He was going slow, he was doing all of these things. Then he decided he was going to build his bravery up and he was going to do something new. And so I got interested because I'm always interested in watching kids figure these types of things out because they're so much better at it than adults are. And so what he wanted to do was get on the hoverboard, get on his knees, fold in tight and zoom down a driveway. Now we know the driveway was at an incline like this. When he got to the top, you could see on his face, it looked like it was more like this, like he was gonna have to go down just 60 miles an hour, right? And so as he's up there, I hear him muttering something to himself. And now I'm even more intrigued. What is this kid doing to pump himself up to do this ridiculously hard thing that he's trying to do? And as he zooms by me, I hear, Silencio Bruno! Y'all, I about died laughing. Now, if you don't know where Silencio Bruno comes from, it comes from the Disney Pixar movie Luca. And in that movie, two young boys are talking, and one is saying how he's really scared to do something. And the other one is saying, you know that voice in the back of your head that's telling you all of the bad things that's gonna happen? Well, yell out Silencio Bruno. And so anytime the boy who was a little nervous is doing something that he feels is dangerous, and sometimes it's actually dangerous, he yells out Silencio Bruno as loud as he can to silence that voice. And to see this boy in my neighborhood do the exact same thing, to silence that voice that tells us that we can't, that voice that tells us that we're not good enough, that voice that tells us that we're not educated enough, that we're not rich enough, that we're not skinny enough, that we're not whatever enough. It was live and in person watching him silence that voice. Now I know the voice inside my head is not called Bruno. I don't know what her name is, but she is feisty. She is feisty. But sometimes wouldn't it be nice to just be able to go Silencio voice and have it get a little quieter? And watching this little boy go down the driveway made me wonder, why can't we? Why can't we name our voice? And when it's being a little obnoxious, yell out Silencio voice as loud as we can. It's just a story and an observation. But if you have that voice inside your head telling you right now that you can't do something that you know in your heart of hearts that you're supposed to be doing, maybe yell out Silencio as loud as you can and see if it helps. Just make sure nobody's around or they're gonna think you're a little crazy. All right, have an absolutely amazing week. As always, don't forget, you got this. I'll see you next week.